I love learning new information, and something that my husband and I always say is that the flexibility of your mind creates the flexibility in your body. It keeps you youthful. Learning new information, it keeps you current. We definitely have to prepare ourselves to lock in and do what we have to do for ourselves and our families and our communities.
Am I really that much to handle? Breaking these niggas down like a camera. You don't really know you are.
Welcome back to another vlog. If you're new here, my name is Tatiana. I'm in my 40s and I'm on a mission to lose 50 pounds. Now, as I told y'all in my last vlog, I moved all of my workouts to Monday through Friday because I've been feeling like working out on the weekends while they're convenient, because my husband will, take care of the kids and I can get up early and get to the gym and get it done. It has made me feel like really overwhelmed and like I'm working every single day and I'm in the hustle and bustle every single day, and I don't really have time to rest outside of sleep. And I'm like, I need one day, at least a Sunday or something, where I can kick my feet up for a few hours, So I moved my workouts to the weekdays. Now, I only got 3 workouts in this week because I was going into the office. I had a lot going on. And so I woke up this morning feeling a little anxious, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a workout in. I'm going to do a home workout because I need to trust myself to do these home workouts, because I am going to have to do them a few days since I moved all of my workout days to the weekdays. So I got up, I found a magic circle workout. I remember I got that magic circle from Marshall's a couple of weeks ago, and the workout was amazing. It was amazing. I was able to, get to moving. I got a little sweat in. It was the perfect movement for this Saturday morning where, I just needed to kind of get that anxiety off me. I needed to get my endorphins going. And that has helped me a lot, with my anxiety, the workouts. I've gone into the gym, anxiety up to here, and come out feeling so much better. I had very different plans for this vlog, but I feel like I would be remiss to not address the elephant in the room. This week has been a crazy week in this world, in this country. There is a lot going on. We have to be very careful in regard to how we speak about these things on social media, but there is a lot going on right now. There was a lot of news coming at us, and I am not one of those people who think ignorance is bliss. If I don't watch the news, it's okay. This is not a good time for that. This is not a good time for that. You need to know what's going on. However you take it in, whether you watch it, read it, listen to it, you need to know what's going on. It's so important to know. This week was a heavy week with information. And I don't know, I woke up today and I felt anxious, and something that I usually do in the morning, I always do grounding things in the morning. So I woke up, I drank my water, I got hydrated, I sat down for prayer and meditation. So I did 5 minutes of meditation and went into prayer, and then I started my Pilates workout, which was perfect. It was exactly what I needed, because I was just having a lot of feelings, and just knowing I get up, I pray every single morning, but the works, we still need to be prepared for certain things. We need to prepare ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, for certain things. And that's just what I had on my mind. this morning, and like I said, I had very different plans for this vlog, but I just felt like I would be irresponsible to not address the elephant in the room. So I feel a little bit better after I moved my body. I'm glad that I did. Now I know that I have a little workout in the pocket, you know, and that I can trust myself to do that, because I'm working on it, because I am going to be working out at home more often. We just don't know what things are going to be like in the next couple of months or years, and I need to trust myself to be able to keep this journey going, even if I'm not able to go to the gym some days or at all, you know. So yeah, like that's what has been on my mind today. Another thing, so the refinery that had the explosion this week is just a few miles from our house. We were able to see the fire from like our bathroom window. So there's just a lot going on. There's a lot to think about, and you know, we got to stay not only prayed up but prepared, you know, do what we need to do to prepare. So I'm going to take myself on my morning solo day date. I want to grab something to eat. I'm hungry. I'm not in the mood for eggs. Today is one of those days where like texture is a thing. I have days where I can push past the texture of eggs. Today is not one of those days. I don't know. I don't want eggs. So I think I want like an avocado toast or something. Another thing that has been on my mind is community and creating community, knowing your community. And there have been so many like cafes that have been popping up all over, you know, in my community, just branching out everywhere. And so I'm gonna pick a cafe to sit down in and read today. I need to go buy a book for next week, so I'm gonna do that too. But yeah, I feel like we all probably have a lot on our minds right now. And I just want y'all to know, you know, if you're feeling that way, you're not alone. We have a lot to navigate right now. And yeah, so I'm gonna grab this avocado toast and I'm gonna call y'all back. All right, so the cafe that I'm going to today, they only have pastries. They don't have food. So I'm gonna stop by Panera and get my favorite little avocado toast, and then head over to the cafe and sit down. I'm gonna show y'all how I choose my books of the week.
Welcome to Panera Bread. Were you picking up or placing an order?
Placing an order.
Okay, what can I get for you?
Can I get the Green Goddess avocado toast? That's it. So I didn't get a drink because I've got my water with me. Y'all, I'm loving this hydro jug. I love it. It's just so cute to me, and I've been using it every single day. Usually I switch out with my outfit, but everything actually that I've been wearing this week matches it. So, you know. All right, y'all. So I got my avocado toast. So I'm gonna eat this in the car. I'm not gonna take that in them people cafe. I would have loved to buy breakfast from the cafe, but they only have pastries, and you know, your girl trying to do good. I would prefer to have a coffee than to have pastries, as you know, in terms of like a cheat situation. So I got my avocado toast. It's 9:15, so as I always tell y'all, I fast from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. every single day, so I'm good to eat. I'm actually been fasting for 14 hours now. It looked like it was moving around in that bag a little bit, but you know, it's all good. It should be tasty. So I'm gonna eat this and head over to the cafe. All right, y'all. So I collect hats, but so does my husband. And this hat I stole from him is Compton Country Club. Another like local, you know, business. But this hat, I was like, this will look cute in my outfit today because I got sweats on this color. But anyway, all right, y'all. So I just pulled up to the coffee/tea house that I'm about to go to, and I realized that there's a local pharmacy next door, and I've been thinking about that too, like using local pharmacies more. I was also talking to both my friend Britt, my friend Asia, and also my mom about starting to go to the farmers markets, you know, getting up early on the weekend days and going to the farmers markets to buy food directly from the farmers, because yeah, there's a lot going on, you know, and having these like local pharmacies and getting to know these pharmacists in these pharmacies and the owners of these pharmacies, I think is so important right now. So that just hit me. Like, I'm looking at the tea house and I'm like, I didn't realize there was a pharmacy next door. All of these things are on my mind, and I am like trying to, you know, gather all this information and start to, you know, organize my life in that mindset. So I'm outside of the tea house. Last week I read the Sugar Blitz series, or for the past 2 weeks I've been reading that. And I'm gonna say this. So the second book, Legend in the Baking, I finished, and I enjoyed that a little bit more than the first book. It's a series, but they can both stand alone, so you don't have to read the first book. You don't have to read Fake It Till You Bake It to read Legend in the Baking. If you just wanted to read Legend in the Baking, you could just read that. But Legend in the Baking is a second chance romance, slow burn type of situation. I don't like to give it away just in case y'all want to read it. But you know, we got a football player and like a PR social media girly, and you know, this is a second chance situation. They kind of had a crush on each other back in the day, and they're trying to navigate that, you know, in their adult lives. So that's the premise. So okay, so this is usually what I do. I have a TBR. If you read books and you're on social media, you know, if you follow any of like the Booktokers, the Bookstagrammers, the Booktubers, that there is always an ongoing list for your TBR. I have screenshots, I have lists in my phone. It's just books everywhere. All right, y'all, so I got my Kindle and I got my AirPods. And so this week, there are 2 books that I have that I'm thinking about reading. So the first one is Sweet Heat by Bolu Babalola. And the second one is, and I don't think I've read any books by her. She had another really popular book that was out that I didn't read yet. It's on my TBR, I think. But the second book is A Love Song for Ricki Wilde by Tia Williams. Now, I did read 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I do like her writing style. I think she's quick. I think she's witty. I love it. All right, so I'm going to go into the tea house and I'm going to read a few pages from each one of those books to make a decision on which one I want to read first, what's going to be next week's read. And that's what I usually do. Sometimes I will know, like, okay, the next read is this book. I know for sure I want to read this book. And then in this case, there are times like this where there are 2 books that I'm interested in reading next, and I kind of got to, I'm a mood reader, so I kind of got to feel out like which one feels better to go into the new week. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to call y'all back.
We've been done long before it all began. Still can't give it up. Lead me on, but leave before the morning comes. Even though it's what we want, can't keep it up. But I just don't wanna leave you. Might just go with the reasons why we both can't lay here. And secret, both gotta keep it honest. That's just a game, you know. We both can play for tonight.
All right, y'all. So I had to come back to the tea house that I came to last week because this Vietnamese coffee with banana cold foam, it just hits. And honestly, I was just not in the mood to get something new and not like it. I was like, this week has just been too rough for my treat to not hit. I need the treat to hit today. So I ended up getting the Vietnamese coffee with the banana cold foam from Mai. That's the name of the tea house. And that's going to be my thing. I'm going to start going around to these different cafes, finding me a favorite, getting cozy, sitting down, checking out the local businesses, seeing what other places I could possibly patronize. You know what I mean? It was crowded today, though. Last time I came here, it was lunchtime, so it wasn't too crowded, but this time it was pretty crowded. So luckily, I was able to find a seat. I was able to sit down. I was able to get my little snippet in of both books. So I'm about to sip my coffee and head over to Barnes & Noble and make my selection. All right, y'all. So as soon as I walked into Barnes & Noble, I see A Love Song for Ricki Wilde on the entry, like the entrance table. So I don't know if that's a sign, because low-key I still haven't decided which one I want. Okay, so we're gonna head over to the romance section. I accidentally forgot my Vietnamese coffee in the car. It's so good. I'm not even like a banana person, but that banana cold foam has me in a chokehold. I'm not even gonna lie. I need to figure out how to make that. But let's get over here to this romance section and see if I can find Sweet Heat. Hopefully I don't end up finding something else because then I'll be adding a third book to my little kerfuffle. Okay, so we're over here in the romance section. I read Before I Let Go. This is a must read. It's a part of a 3-part series called the Skyland series. That series, Kennedy Ryan is the truth. I am a stan. If you're looking for something to read, read this book. I also read Plus Size Player. This book is also a part of a series, and I actually see the first book. So Curvy Girl Summer is the first book, and then Plus Size Player is the second book. These books are also really good. I love these books. I would say check the trigger warnings for this though. They got the little fall read romance table. Okay, what's this? This is cute. Deja Brew. I like it. All right, y'all. So I'm crouched down here looking for Sweet Heat. The last name of the author is Babaloa. So it should be over here in the B section. It smells so good in here. Like the smell of coffee and books combined is just chef's kiss to me. I think I see it. I found it, y'all. Here we go. Sweet Heat. Okay, so now we gotta make a final decision. All right, y'all, so I think Sweet Heat is gonna be the winner. I think we're gonna go with this, especially since I've already read a Tia Williams book. I am still interested in reading a love song for Ricki Wilde, but I kind of want to try something new, so we're gonna go with Sweet Heat. All right, y'all, so I'm back in the car, back to my drink. Banana cold foam. Okay, so there has always been something extremely grounding about bookstores for me. Ever since I was a little girl, I would get my allowance as like a preteen. Back then we used to have the B. Dalton, and I would go, you know, I would take my little $20 and I would go in there and get me 2 Fear Street books, or a Fear Street book and a Babysitter's Club, or a Babysitter's Club and a Sweet Valley High. I have always loved the smell, the feeling, the vibrations of bookstores. I've always been a person who enjoys learning. Something my husband and I always talk about is how, you know, we all know that you need to stretch, right? You need to stretch for mobility, you need to stretch for flexibility, but people rarely talk about the flexibility of your mind and being able to grasp new information. I love learning new information, whether that be new technical skills or empathy. I cannot tell you that I've read books. There was this book I read called, I think it was called Restore Me by J.L. Seeger. She has a new book that I want to read. But this book really put me in a spot because it's about a widow and her husband's best friend, and they cannot stand each other, and it's an enemies to lovers situation. And you already know, as a married woman, I had my good side eye on that book. I said, y'all not taking me down this road. You're not taking me down this road. And I continued to read the book though, because it was good. It's spicy if you're looking for something spicy. I continued to read the book, girl, and then here I start to root for them. I started to root for them. I was like, you know, she's lonely. This is such a tough time. And I found my heart softening for these characters, right? This was not a true story. This is a complete work of fiction. But I love learning new information. And something that my husband and I always say is that the flexibility of your mind creates the flexibility in your body. It keeps you youthful. Learning new information, it keeps you current. So that's why I love reading books. It's not only like grounding for me, it's restorative. I feel like I get to learn new things constantly, even if it's empathy. You know, getting to learn about the lives of people in these books, people that you would probably never encounter in your life. You get to learn about people and what, you know, people's motivations. That's another reason why I also love foreign films. I love to watch foreign films because I feel like in the US, a lot of our films are like, this is the hero, this is the villain. Root for the hero, not the villain. Whereas in foreign films, oftentimes they'll present a hero and you'll be like, yes, we're rooting for the hero. And then the villain will come along and they'll tell a villain's backstory. And you're like, oh wow, the hero kind of unintentionally harmed the villain in some kind of way. And now the villain hates this guy and he's right for hating this guy, you know? That's the thing I love about like foreign TV shows and foreign films, because they always put you in a position where you're like, is this person a villain? Or did they go through something very traumatic by way of the hero that changed their life? And maybe the hero didn't do it on purpose, you know? But those are things that I love to explore and think about and build empathy on. That's the reason why I love books. Books have always been something that I could dive into, where I learn, where it's a little bit of an escape sometimes too. But just that I walked in there and that smell of books just, it brought all that anxiety down, and it felt good. So I ended up going with Sweet Heat. I've read a Tia Williams book before. Like I said, I read 7 Days in June earlier this year, and I wanted to try something new. I haven't read anything by Bolu Babalola yet, so I'm excited about this. I grabbed this. It's about close to 500 pages, it looks like, but I've heard nothing but rave reviews about this book. So next up, I want to head to Five Below, because the book girlies are saying Five Below has books now, which is great because books do add up. Now, Sweet Heat was $19.99. Now, I have my Barnes & Noble membership. So with the Barnes & Noble membership, it was like $2 off. So I think I ended up paying $17.98 for it. It looks like I got a reward too. I got a reward coming up. Hey, your girl is buying books. I really need to start finding more indie bookstores. I know there are a lot of indie bookstores that you can buy from online. There is a black indie bookstore out here. It's in LA. It's not close to me. It's something I would have to drive through, but it's called Reparations Club. Shout out to Reparations Club. That is a black owned indie bookstore out here in LA that I need to get over to. They also have a lot of really cool events and speakers and just things like that. But the books be adding up. You know, I'm not gonna lie, they be adding up. So I do also look for like things on my to be read list that are at the library, like, you know, finding different options. Of course, I have Kindle Unlimited that I pay about $11 a month for, and I can download books on my Kindle. Now, again, as I've said before, the black authors do not get the attention they deserve, so I always buy their books. But I'm gonna head over to Five Below and I'm gonna call y'all back. I just looked on the library app on Hoopla for Sweet Heat. They don't have it, but they do have the other book that I was talking about from Bolu Babalola called Honey and Spice. That's the other book that I haven't read by her that's like on my TBR, on my to be read list. They have that, but they don't have Sweet Heat. So it looks like I'm probably going to have to get it on Audible or something like that. But yeah, okay. Also, so earlier in this vlog, I told y'all about the refinery that's a few miles from our house that had an explosion a couple of days ago. So I just saw an article talking about how that explosion is going to significantly impact our gas prices. I'm like, girl, what else? You know, we got to keep it local. I said, girl, let me find these farmers markets in these local spots. Cause this is it's about to get really real in these streets, and y'all, I am praying we definitely have to prepare ourselves to lock in and do what we have to do for ourselves and our families and our communities, because so the gas prices are going up. All right, y'all, so we done made it to the Five Below. Let me go over here to the book section and see what they have. Oh, I see them right here. Okay, so here's the little book section that they have. It looks like the books are $10, not $5, but these are books that I've heard of. This A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Of course, The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. We love Big Frida over here, both Big Fridas. Check and May. I read this book. This book is really good. It's a young adult book, but Allie Hazelwood writes love stories that are usually centered around women in STEM. The female main character in this book is like a chess wizard, And so yeah, this is a good book to read. They also have a classic, The Shining by Stephen King. I don't know some of these books, but you know, they look solid. Wrath and the Dawn, I'm not familiar with that. Better Than the Movies, I'm not familiar with that either. I never read any John Grisham books, but you know, I know he's like a really popular author as well. Okay, so I didn't really see anything that I'm interested in. I did just hit Barnes & Noble, so I have my book of the week that I'm gonna read, but I don't really see anything here. One thing I do always do is check and see if I need anything from the stationery section, because on top of being a book girly, I'm a stationery girly down. So this vlog is a lot shorter than my vlogs have been. I really just didn't feel comfortable doing what I had planned to do with all the things going on in the world right now. I know that everybody is kind of walking around with big feelings, heavy minds, heavy hearts. It's just a lot. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot of information. And I just didn't want to move forward like that's not happening. That never feels good. It doesn't feel good in real life, and it doesn't feel good online when people are not addressing the obvious, you know? We have been doing all we can to make things feel normal for our children, to keep them happy and energetic and going. Even today, like we're you know, doing activities for them, like, okay, this is something you can do, you know, we'll get you a treat. Like, we're just trying to keep things as normal as we can for them. Another change that we made this week, we signed Ezra up for homeschool, and we're kind of going through that process right now, and I will talk about that more in my next couple of vlogs as we go through the process, because we don't feel comfortable with him not being in our presence. You know, with all the changes being made and things that are being talked about, we just don't feel comfortable. So yeah, we are going through the homeschool process now. We just started that, so I will update y'all on that. But yeah, it's a lot, and I just wanted to check in with y'all. Just show y'all some of the things that I'm doing to ground myself. Meditation, hydration, prayer. This week, you know, my appetite has been kind of low. When I'm in my head like that, my appetite is not there like usual. So I can't lie about that either. Like, I have been having to remind myself to eat. Like, oh, you need to eat, it's lunchtime. Or, you know, I'm not snacking as much. I think I just have so much on my mind, and it's usually like that when I do. So it's just been different. The differences were definitely felt this week, but I'm moving forward. We're moving forward. I wanted to check in with y'all, see how you're feeling. You know, any changes you're making for your family, any prep you're doing. I want to hear from y'all. This is a space. We got to build some community online. Maybe we need to start talking about $20 meals, you know, how we're prepping meals for under $20 for our families, because we're going to need that. But yeah, drop down in the comments. Let me know how you feeling. You know, let's stay protected and prayed up and prepared in every possible way we can. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.